Do you know the difference between a top coat and a flood coat? Both are super handy to know how to do. Top coat is just on the top. On this one, we have to make corrections on the front, but the sides are just fine. So I use resin tape to wrap the sides to protect it from any kind of spillover. Make sure your tape is smooth and even with the top, like this, so we have a good seal and resin doesn't leak in between the tape and the project. Now for flood coats, we're going to coat the top and the sides. As you can see, I have a cheap mold. And you definitely want to make sure you sand or scuff up the sides so the resin will stick. I personally prefer to use Elmer's glue to add a barrier layer to the back. There's really no special way of doing this, so I just use my finger. Now you got to be patient, because we have to let this dry before we get started. For both coats, I'm going to use a tabletop epoxy, and then I'm going to go ahead and degas it in my vacuum chamber. Always clean your project off with rubbing alcohol to remove dust and oil. I added just enough to cover and then I spreaded it around. Popped my bubbles and then only added enough to dome. Flood coats can be tricky, and the reason why I'm using tabletop epoxy. It has a lower viscosity. The thickness helps it stick. And then the same for both. We pick out dust, and then when we have it where we want it, we cover it and let it cure. Once it's cured enough to handle the project that we top coated, we could just simply peel off the tape. A helpful little tip here, you heat the Elmer's glue up with a heat gun. It makes the glue more pliable because when it's cold, it's brittle and it snaps and can break off into a bunch of pieces. But a little bit of heat keeps it in one piece. So if you found this helpful, make sure to follow along for more.